comes a moment in a rare soul's life when noise stops feeding you, when conversations feel thin, when the places you once ran toward suddenly feel too small. And while the world calls it burnout, laziness, or emotional withdrawal, the universe calls it preparation. Think about it. Every significant transformation in history began with a withdrawal. Buddha stepping away from the palace walls, Leonardo da Vinci disappearing from the public eye for months while the world wondered what he was doing, Einstein spending entire evenings in solitude, staring at the stars, letting the universe whisper answers into his imagination. Great shifts don't begin in the spotlight, they begin in silence. But here's what no one tells you. You're sensing the emptiness of things because you're meant to outgrow them. Losing interest isn't the collapse of your identity. It's the shedding of the version of you that can no longer carry the next chapter of your destiny. And the universe responded in the only language it understands: alignment. Every time you decide, "I will not shrink," or "I am ready to let go," or "I deserve more than what I'm settling for," you're speaking fluently to the universe. This is not manifestation culture. This is ancient human instinct, the instinct to shape reality through the inner world. There's a reason the Stoics whispered their questions into the morning air. They believed the universe answered through action, not magic. Seneca once wrote that fortune is what happens when intent meets timing. That's another way of saying, your clarity is your signal. Pause here, feel that, because sometimes the universe doesn't speak in thunder. It speaks in the smallest shift of your awareness, the softest loosening of something that once held you tight. You've felt this before. The moment a situation no longer fits you, the moment a conversation drains you, the moment you know something is ending even before it ends. That's the universe speaking through intuition, through resonance, through the subtle honesty that lives below fear. And this is where it gets interesting. You don't speak to the universe by pushing for outcomes. You speak by becoming someone who can receive them. Every time you stop chasing validation, your signal becomes cleaner. Every time you stop pretending to be fine, your frequency becomes truer. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, your message becomes unmistakable. Truth is the language of the universe, and as you reconnect with it, another question rises. If the universe is always listening, what are you actually saying? Hold that. Let it open the next doorway. People think the universe answers through signs, but signs are the last step. The echo, not the voice. The real response comes first as a shift in your inner landscape, a calm where there used to be panic, a discomfort where there used to be tolerance, a pull towards something you can't logically justify. This is the reply before the sign. Take history's most unexpected breakthroughs. Einstein didn't stumble onto relativity because of a lightning bolt moment. He followed a small, persistent question inside him. What would the world look like if I rode alongside a beam of light? A quiet curiosity became a cosmic conversation, and the universe answered through insight, timing, and a mind ready to receive what others weren't prepared to see. Or think of Harriet Tubman. She didn't wait for the universe to shout. She trusted the inner compass, the one no slave master could break. Her intuition wasn't a feeling. It was a universal call guiding her through forests, rivers, and fear itself. A dialogue between courage and destiny. These stories repeat across time because the universe has always spoken in the same way. Through resonance. You know resonance. It's why certain people feel like home the moment you meet them. It's why certain paths feel heavy even when they look right. It's why every time you've betrayed your intuition, you paid for it later. Resonance is the universe telling you, move here. Dissonance says, not this way. And when you begin to understand this language, something beautiful happens. Your life stops feeling random. Because the universe does not guide the passive, it guides the aligned. But here's the part no one tells you. When you ask the universe for change, the first thing it gives you is disruption, not punishment, preparation. You ask for strength, it gives you resistance. You ask for clarity, it removes people who blur your vision. You ask for healing, it uncovers what hurt you. You ask for growth, it stretches every part of you that wants to stay the same. This is not chaos, this is calibration. And if you've been feeling uncomfortable lately, if life feels like it's rearranging itself without your permission, you're not being punished, you're being positioned. Let that settle in your chest, because every disruption is a doorway. And through that doorway, the next part of your conversation with the universe begins. Most people don't realize this, but the universe won't move until you do. Not because it's withholding, but because movement is how you declare your readiness. A decision, even a small one, is a signal flare into the unseen. Think back to the Renaissance, when artists lived in cramped studios, scraping pigments from minerals and praying their work meant something. Michelangelo didn't wait for divine clarity before touching the marble. He began carving, trusting that truth would reveal itself one strike at a time. Movement created meaning. Meaning invited revelation. This pattern hasn't changed. When you take one aligned step, leave the room that drains you, start the project you've delayed for years, speak the truth you've swallowed, the universe reorganizes itself around your courage. Suddenly the right people appear. The right ideas take shape. The right timing unfolds like a path that was always there, waiting for your feet. Because here's the deeper truth. The universe is not responding to your desires. It is responding to your decisions. Desire is passive. Decision is active. And the universe speaks the language of action. You've felt this at least once in your life. The moment you stopped begging someone to understand you and walked away, suddenly peace found you again. The moment you finally tried something new after years of hesitation, suddenly the support you never expected showed up. The moment you whispered a quiet promise to yourself, "I'm done letting fear decide," suddenly opportunities that were invisible before began to unfold. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. And this is where it becomes personal. You've been trying to speak to the universe, but deep down you've also been waiting for permission, waiting for someone to tell you your feelings are valid, your dreams are not childish, your path is not too strange, your timing is not too late. So hear this. You are allowed to choose the life your soul keeps pointing to. You don't need credentials for your calling. Take the story of Galileo. He wasn't a polished saint or a cosmic chosen one. He was a curious, stubborn human who dared to trust his own observation more than the world's expectations. His entire life was an act of speaking to the universe, asking questions no one else had the courage to ask. And the universe answered through insight, not approval. Your life may not be about telescopes or revolutions, but the principle is the same. Your truth will always create tension before it creates alignment. This is not failure. This is initiation. And if it feels like you're standing on the edge of something, a choice, a transformation, a quiet knowing that you can't ignore anymore, trust that. Edges are where the old world ends and the new world begins, where the whisper becomes a voice, where the universe moves because you finally do. So breathe, step forward. Your next question is already forming, and the universe is listening. There comes a moment in every seeker's life when you stop asking the universe for answers, and you start listening for the ones already living inside you. Not the loud answers, not the ones shaped by fear, urgency, or the need to prove yourself, but the quiet ones that rise like tidewater at dawn, the ones that feel less like thoughts and more like memory, remembered truths, ancient instincts. Because the greatest secret is this: you don't speak to the universe, you speak as the universe. The voice you've been searching for isn't somewhere in the sky. It's the voice that nudges you toward honesty when pretending would be easier. The voice that tightens your chest when you are about to betray yourself. The the voice that softens when something finally aligns. Think of the ancient poets, Rumi, Hafiz, Lao Tzu, men separated by continents, languages, cultures, and yet they described the same inner voice. A guiding presence that felt both deeply personal and wildly cosmic. They weren't channeling an outside force. They were tuning into the oldest frequency known to humanity, authenticity. And authenticity is the universe translated through your being. But here's the part people forget. Listening to that voice doesn't always feel peaceful. Sometimes it tells you to walk away from something familiar. Sometimes it asks you to be honest with someone you love. Sometimes it asks you to grow beyond the identity you've kept safe for decades. Even the Buddha's awakening began with discomfort. He left his palace not because the universe whispered sweet guidance, but because the truth inside him grew too large to ignore. Great awakenings rarely start with serenity. They begin with a subtle shaking, the kind you've been feeling lately. And that shaking is not a warning. It is an invitation. You are not falling apart. You are rearranging into the person you were always meant to become. So ask your question again, whatever it is. But ask it without fear. Ask it without desperation. Ask it without doubting whether you deserve an answer. Ask it the way the great minds did. Edison wandering alone at night, letting curiosity lead him. Marie Curie risking everything for a truth only she could feel. Mandela sitting in a dark cell, trusting that peace was still possible. None of them waited for the universe to speak first. They acted from conviction, and the universe responded through alignment. And now, here you are, standing in your own moment of alignment. So let this land gently in your chest. You are not disconnected. You are being redirected. You are not unheard. You are in a conversation older than your name, older than your body, older than time itself. And every step you take toward your truth, even the smallest, even the quietest, becomes a sentence in that conversation. So speak, with your decisions, with your boundaries, with your honesty, with your willingness to begin again. The universe is not waiting for the perfect version of you. It is responding to the real one, and the real you, the one beneath the doubt, beneath the noise, beneath the masks, is finally waking up. This is not the end of your question. This is the beginning of your answer. You are not disappearing. You're returning home.